Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. This is a message for you. All right, let's get going. So tonight we have the 9 of Cups, which has everything to do with happiness. Not too shabby. And let's go ahead and see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. All right. So immediately I'm looking here. I want to look at this one first. We have a person standing here. You can see the head. You can see their arm is raised. They're holding on to it. Looks like a snake. Right? Their body holding on to, I thought a child. It kind of looks like a crucifix as well, but I think this is a child or an aspect of youth. Okay. Now over here we have what looks like a person. Their hand is kind of raised. Here we have, it looks like a child standing next to this person, and maybe an eye underneath here. We have an eye. So I want to go ahead and say that this feels like, it really does feel like coming into an understanding of something that has been really difficult. Something that has disrupted the family. And I think it just feels like something where, like you found out something, right? I don't know what it is exactly. It could be about the family, old histories, something within your work or about yourself, or, whatever it is, right? It feels like it's quite confronting. It is something that has thrown you for a loop. I feel like you are kind of in this almost, it's like, feels like a spiritual battle here. Okay. Trying to figure out how to get a hold of this thing. Now the snake is, excuse me. Woo, I thought I wasn't going to cough this time. I'm almost 100%. I have a little bit of a cough left, but getting to that 100. So anyways, yes, it definitely kind of, the serpent can be a lot of things, right? But in this case, knowledge, the bestower of knowledge. So the thing that has come into your life where, yeah, you maybe weren't looking for this information, something I was reading. Now, this is just an example, and it came to my mind because I had been reading about this the other day. Is how so many people are getting DNA tests, genetic tests, right? So you can find out, like, where your people come from and do your family trees or whatever. Well, obviously, we don't go into these situations thinking like, okay, I'm going to find out that, like, one of my parents isn't my parent, or, or I've been adopted, or whatever it is, right? But these things happen, and they happen more and more and more now that so many people are getting these tests done. Now, the implications of it, I'm not going to talk about that. That's not why we're here. But I'm thinking this is something that would be, yeah, like a fundamental shift, right? If you lived your whole life thinking, yeah, this is my family. These are my these are my parents, or this is my mother, this is my father, and you find out no. Now, that's not to say that they aren't, right? We can do the whole discussion about what that actually means to be a mother or father or parent, whatever. We're not doing that. But this is the kind of, not exactly, I'm not saying this is going to happen or this is what has happened, but it is something in the realm of this kind of, you know, it's to the same kind of gravity, right? Of, oh my goodness. I'm finding out this thing about myself that is, I don't know how to take it. I don't know how to process this yet. And I feel like it's put you in a state of turmoil. Okay? Now, I don't know that this is a present thing because we do have this happiness card. I wonder if this is something that has already happened, right? This is like maybe a situation that has already unfolded. It's something that you've been dealing with. And maybe, hopefully, you're getting into a part of your experience of this thing, this scenario, this, you know, these circumstances where you're able to process and kind of integrate some of it, right? I do feel like it was something that it really, almost like you were just so involved with your family life, your daily routines, your mundane, you know, responsibilities and so on. And this thing just absolutely came in and, you know, mixed everything up. And so I feel like this was a profound shift for you, okay? A really profound shift. And I want to keep looking because I know this is not the only. So we have reoccurring twos throughout. We have a 2 up here. We have a 2 down here. It looks like a 2 over here. So 2 being an important number. A child with a dog. I feel like you had a dog, or maybe you have one now, maybe both. But I feel there was a dog in your life that was really important in your youth. This is like your best friend type of deal. I think that you spent a lot of time with this dog, and it is somebody you think about a lot. And I know, I call my aunt, I say somebody. I know. Even my daughter, she's 4, and I'll be like, she loves to cuddle with the cats and pet them and try to carry them and you know, and how young kids are with animals, you know what I mean? So constantly trying to get her to respect their autonomy. And I'll say, we don't treat somebody like that. And she'll say, they're not a somebody, it's a cat. Oh yes, they are a somebody. They absolutely are. So I will say that. But this is somebody who I feel you spend a lot of time with. And I almost feel like this was, like I said, your best friend. I'm getting this feeling that you did not have a good experience, at least in the younger years in school. And you were always just waiting for that bell to ring. So you could get your bag, and you could get out that door, and you could get home to your yard, and your dog was there, right? Waiting for you. And then you were home, and you were safe, and you didn't have to deal with all these people out there in the world, and you could just do your own little, you know, your own thing. And so I do feel like this is something that comes up often, even after all these years. I think you think about this companion of yours. And so I think this is, you know, really when they come through like this, a confirmation that they are still with you, right? Just like our people that we carry with us. Our animals are no different. Especially the ones that we had that soul-to-soul connection with. So I think this is important. It is something, I almost feel like you have a picture up somewhere in the house of them. I almost wonder if it's like a Polaroid. I almost think about how, well, if you are from the era of Polaroids, or when you were in your youth, you know, they can start to diminish, which is very sad. Very sad. Thankfully, now we can scan, or we can, you know, digitalize our photos. But I almost, like, for some reason, I'm thinking like there's something about the photo, worrying that it's going to fall apart, or it's the colors coming out of it, something like that. So you know, if you haven't, and for all of your physical photos and things, I recommend getting those digitally processed, and then you can also print them out, you know, that way. So if you ever need like a bigger one or whatever, it's totally worth taking the time to do that. Okay, let's see. Now we have a tower. It's not, well, it does look like it has some flames there maybe. But I think it looks like it says 2011. So I almost wonder if something happened around this time. The tower is right here, and you can see kind of the flames. We also have 43. 4376 up here, or maybe it's 706. But yeah, so a tower moment around 2011. Over 10 years ago. So then we have a person over here. You can see their head right here, their body, and maybe like a skirt or a robe. We have a cat. We have a ghost. I can't see this as anything else but a ghost. And it does feel like a dark time. Now we also have a rooster up here crowing. Fighting. Down here, two people. I almost wonder if this was like a time that you were going through maybe a Saturn return, or it feels like your life, there was like such an oppressive energy, and I feel like it's almost it was more than one thing, but one thing is maybe a really dysfunctional relationship with somebody, and probably living with them. I feel like you around this time had a big wake-up call because something happened, and I hope that it wasn't anything violent, but I kind of almost get the feeling that this is a person who almost is like a sociopath or something. And I don't throw that around lightly. I don't throw around the idea of a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath. None of these things lightly, because it's overused, right? A lot of things that we just find that we don't like in people's personalities, right? Things that they do or how they behave. They may be selfish, or maybe they hurt people's feelings. They, put themselves first, or whatever. Their wants, their needs, their desires first. That doesn't make them a narcissist or a sociopath, technically, right? But I feel like this person, just darkness in them. Something. Not fun either. Like, not fun goth girlfriend or whatever. No. This is like creepy person. And I don't know if this is like, maybe, and I said relationship, it could be that it was a romantic thing. It might be a family member. And that's the thing, is sometimes we don't really know what the heck our family members are doing. We don't even notice it when we're young, and we get older and we think, oh yeah, they're weird. And then you start to really kind of put it together and you're like, wow, what the heck were they into? What were they doing? What was their like life outside of the family, right? And I feel like this is somebody that you had to get away from or was dispelled from the family in some way. Just maybe they went to prison or something. I don't know, but it feels that bleak. Okay. And I feel like this is something that I think that you don't even really talk about that much, to be honest with you, because and this is the thing that happens with us, even as adults, right? Especially when you're a child, but even as an adult is when we're closely related to, or we have chosen people to be in our lives, and they do something that, you know, maybe has nothing to do with us at all, but they do something, you know, violence of some kind, SA of some kind, you know, stealing, or, you know, whatever it is, you can't help but internalize some of that shame, right? I don't know, because maybe the proximity, but also often blood relation. Yeah, it does. It makes you feel like you are tied to their behaviors, even if you're absolutely not, right? And so I feel like this is something that you haven't even spent that much time looking at, but it feels like it was very dramatic. Whatever it was, whatever this thing was, it was a tower moment, not only for yourself, but I feel like for the family at large, like everybody. Heartbreaking. Just absolutely can't wrap your head around it, you know. And so I don't know. It doesn't show me what it is, but it feels like there was maybe some violence there, because I'm looking at this one. Now, with the cat, I feel like there's a sense of this really pushed you into being quite an individual, maybe even going away from your whole family. And I believe that this I think has been the best thing for you. Now, that's not to say that you don't talk to them or you're not on good terms, but I think for at least some of this time, you had to kind of separate yourself, disengage. And I feel like this is where you began to really rebuild a life for yourself. Or maybe you were young when all this happened and this was your first time out into the world, and you have put a lot of energy into, building this life up. And so you've done a good job. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just looking because I don't know. It feels very specific, these details. And then we have a mother figure here. She comes up a lot lately, this Hawthorne with the crown. You can see the crown here. So I feel that, this mother energy kind of is the thing that washes away most of this. And I wonder if that is that you became a mother, if this is that your mother kind of, you know, stepped in and really made sure that everybody was okay. Like, you know, kind of got all of her little chicks underneath her and kept them, you know, carefully protected, helped you kind of, you know, get through this difficulty. But that ultimately, that mother energy is the thing, right? And maybe it wasn't your actual mother. Maybe this is, you know, a caretaker or somebody you grew up with, or, you know, your older sister or whoever. It could, and again, I said it could be you that really stepped up and took care of everybody. But I feel that this was, it was such a difficult time that now, to me, it makes sense that, like, you have gotten away from all of this, and you can see, and I'm going to lift this easily here, and I'm actually just going to pour out some of this water, or tea, I should say. You can see this person, bag, they're taking off. Right? And I feel like going out into the world, kind of finding your own way, this is where your happiness has come from. Absolutely. Getting away from things that maybe you didn't even realize were affecting you. You know, so often we grow up in our lives and we don't realize things are not normal, or things are, they're not healthy. Right? The way that our families are dynamics, the way they communicate, yelling, screaming, neglect, or you know, abuses and things like that. We don't necessarily realize that's what it is until we get away from it. We meet other people, we see other families, we start, you know, reading about things, maybe going to therapy, and it's like, oh my goodness. I didn't realize how bad it was, you know, or maybe how good it was. Hopefully that's the case. I didn't realize how good I got it, you know, but I feel that, yeah, leaving this origin place really, really has saved you. Now, again, like I said, you maybe are back in contact with, maybe you're very close with your family, but I think you needed to have a wider perspective, okay? And so, yes, this is definitely, most definitely where we're getting that happiness from. And it continues. Listen, we don't just get over this stuff. It's work that has to keep happening. So now we have a mushroom. So to me, when I see the mushroom, it really is this message of will grow beauty out of the most difficult, decaying places, right? Like that song, we found love in a hopeless place, right? That's it. It's absolutely, I found beauty. I found the ability to evolve as a being. You know, I found my power, my strength in a hopeless place, in a place that, you know, maybe you weren't given the privileges and the, you know, head start that some people have in life, but you still have made it work. Has it been easy? No. It has not been easy. And I'm not going to romanticize suffering. I'm not. But I do think that, you know, and I'll be honest, and if this isn't you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. But the best people I've ever known are people who have gone through it. I will go so far as to say that the only people who are in my life that are close to me, aside from my daughter, she's going to be very privileged. Hopefully. I hope. As far as like not going through, you know, the pain and abuse and things that I did or my husband did. And, but everybody in my life has gone through some major stuff, difficult, terror, you know, horrifying things. And, you know, I don't know, we just find each other. That's what happens sometimes. And I feel that, you know, you went through some things, and it's all relative, right? This isn't a struggle Olympics or a, you know, like a contest to see who had the most trauma or pain. It's all relative, okay? But I think that you have, you know, against many odds, made it work for you. And you are thriving. You are in this beautiful place. And now we also have a person and a dog. So I feel like you also have, you know, really the ability to connect so deeply with the people that are close to you, you're very discerning, right? And you're very picky about who you let into your private world. Rightfully so. Good job on that. But, you know, I think that you have at least one person who is like a ride or die for you, okay? This is your person. This is the relationship that you will always prioritize. It might not be a spouse even. It might not be somebody you're romantically involved with. This could be a sibling. It could be, you know, a best friend or chosen family or whatever it is. But this is somebody who will always be with you, okay? We also have a person riding a horse. So these movements you have made have been under your own power and your own will. You are the one that has decided to get on that horse and continue on. You're not going to lay down and perish beneath the sun, right? No. You are going to continue on even when it gets hard. You will not stop. And for that, you will continue to, I believe, thrive and thrive and thrive. Even when you have your moments where it doesn't feel like it, check in with yourself. Remind yourself, where have you come from? What have you been through? You absolutely... We lose perspective. We do. It doesn't take that long to get used to the life we have at that moment. And you look back and you think there is a huge difference between what things were like when I was 17 versus when I was, you know, when I'm 47 years old. I'm 67 years old. All of the stuff that's happened in between there and now. And I have to take that into account, right? You have to remind yourself of that. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at these Wild Offering Oracle cards. And I'm going to go ahead. We'll flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. We'll see. Ambition. All right. May I offer all my deepest longings to love itself and invite a divine plan beyond the mind's imagining. Please use me for your highest goodness. Please use me for your highest goodness. Or good. Highest good, I should say. All right. Okay, Pisces, I want to tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. Okay, with that, I will tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in just a few days from now. Good night.